الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Hey, thank you very much, Cikgu Nabawi. So without further ado, we're going to begin this session on OneNote. So for starters, what is OneNote? So as you can see, I'm going to do my presentation entirely on OneNote. So I've made a new notebook basically called OneNote PD. And then inside this OneNote alone, I prepared the slides. So it's similar to how we do a PowerPoint. You can resize as shown. And you can even see when I last edited my stuff as well. So it's quite very useful. And one of the things I like the most about OneNote is that you can interlink pages. So for example, here, I can click on this. What is OneNote? It will lead me to the next page. So I've taken this from Wikipedia. OneNote is a note-taking program for free-form information gathering and multi-user collaboration. Now, this part over here is really important when we do our lessons. It gathers your notes, drawings, screen clippings, audio commentaries, which we'll explore later. You can even share your notes with other users over the internet or a network. You can click on Wikipedia for more information. I won't do that right now, so that's up to you. I've also sent you some notes in advance. Now, those will be like your, how would I call it? The flipped classroom approach. I've given you an email to read before you come to this PD. So you will have a better understanding of what we're going to do. So here's an example of, this is actually from the main Microsoft website. They show a list, so a build list with checkboxes, quite useful. You can interact with those checkboxes. And then a picture of a bike with annotations on it. So there are a lot of things you can do with OneNote. Now, one may say, why don't you just do this on Microsoft Word? Now, my main issue with Microsoft Word is that there are many formatting issues. I'm sure a lot of you hate the auto format, right? And if you turn it off, sometimes it becomes quite inconvenient as well. Now, before we move on, there are actually different versions of OneNote. Now, most of you will have used the OneNote app, which is this one over here. So it's the purple one. And there is also a OneNote 2016 for desktop. Now, the OneNote for desktop, they basically separated from Microsoft and they are making an independent app. OneNote 2016 has got more features, which we'll look at later. I use OneNote on my desktop and also in my iPad. I also use it on my phone sometimes just to check whether students have handed in their work or not. So these are the three types. We have got, maybe we can zoom in a little bit from that. So again, I can just simply zoom in. So it's quite easy. So the full desktop version has got more features basically. Actually, this is not the full desktop version. This is the desktop app version. The full version, I don't have it because it's quite laggy. And if you download the file, it's a lot bigger as well. The app version is good enough. This is what it looks like in your iPad. And then, of course, that's what it looks like on your phone. So let me unzoom that. So which version of this would you prefer to use? Well, it depends, yeah. I think the app version is good enough. The full version has got a few functions that are quite attractive, but you don't really need it, yeah? Don't really need it. So next, we're going to learn how to generate a notebook that is linked to your Teams. So I've sent an email which shows you how to do this. So hopefully you can read that. It's highlighted there as well. I've also put it down below if you want to go through it quickly, but I don't think we should spend time on that because the main purpose of today is to explore the main users of OneNote itself. But just in short, basically, you have to set up your Teams first. Hang on, there's MS Teams. So click on your Teams icon on the left. Click on Create or Join Team, but create a team, and then choose Class. Yeah, technically, we could have done a PLC, but it's quite complicated to do it as well, so no point, yeah? For your classes, then you'll be prompted to input the names of the students. If they are included in our PTEST email, you can just add their names one by one. Make sure you have the correct one as well from the correct year, because sometimes there are students from previous batches that have the similar names, yeah? Okay, so that's one example you can do. Then once you're done, there's a button there called Set Up Your OneNote Class Notebook. If you use this button, it will actually generate a list of all your students, which I'll show later, and that those notes are independent of each other, as in one student can only view their own notes, but not others. Then after that, we'll look at how we compile the notes, and that's the most important part of today's session. Yeah. So let's look at the quick setup. For first-time users, once you have done you've already created a notebook. In fact, this notebook is not linked to any team. So this notebook here is an independent notebook. You can do this just for your daily diary or anything which you don't want to share with anyone else. Just right-click here and actually not right-click. Click on the notebooks on top. Click on Add Notebook, and you will have a new notebook. Yeah. In fact, let me try that now. So notebook, I'll just call it Test Notebook 02 because I've already got one. Then it will create one. It will take a while. It shouldn't be that long actually. Now, while you are doing this, you may be thinking, what about my digital notes? Do I have to compile them myself? Yes, you have to. But you can always find previous sources. Like for my case, because I've done this for a few years already. In fact, I started using OneNote in 2018. So as you can see, the creating process is very slow as well. Now, the first time I tried to use OneNote, of course, it was a massive failure. You have to do things by trial and error sometimes. Also, here we have a new notebook. So it's a test notebook with an empty section, empty page. We'll come back to that later. So you can compile our digital notes, or you can look at an example of a fully set up one. So here is an example of my lower 4 2022 notebook, which is new. So it is quite empty. Yeah? So let's look at it. Inside my notebook, I have got a content library, which I don't use. I put everything under teacher only. So I have my assignments. So these are all my assignments for the whole year, basically, compiled over a few years. So for example, my lower 6 will assign this for last week. They've completed it and they've already handed it in. The MCQ, actually, you can input a Microsoft Forms here as well. But I think it's better to do it via Teams instead, so you can have automatic marking. Anyway, here's the bulk of my notes, my syllabus notes, and I can go to all the subsections. Yes, all the subsections, all the notes. I have the entire syllabus on here already. So it will take a while for you to compile these notes from the syllabus, but it is worth doing it because next year, when I have a new batch of students, I can simply right-click this, move or copy, and then transfer this entire thing into my new notebook for my next batch. So you'll be a 2023 batch, and they will have all the same resources. I have to stop and mention here that, for example, for this picture over here, I took it from savemyexams.co.uk. So this means that I cannot sell these pictures. Yeah, these are, how should I say, copyright laws are in effect here. So be very careful. Do not just simply sell notes that are digital. You can probably share with your students, but make sure that they themselves don't sell it. If they do, it's on them, not on you anymore. So it's okay. I also have a section for my practicals. Now here's a question for you all. You can ask about it in the end when we have our Q&A. How do you do your project work? For us scientists, practical work is really difficult. So what I've done is I have embedded videos here. So for example, these videos here, they will load from YouTube straight away and you can hear it.
Hey, you 11, like, just gonna...
There's a teacher who will demonstrate. I can even zoom it if I want to. So I put it small just for the students to look at. And then we have our practical one. And then we cannot do it because we are now at home, right? Practicals are impossible to do. Even if I go to school and I film myself doing the practical, it will not be as effective as actually sitting there and doing it yourself. So those of you who are teaching subjects that are project-based, I feel for you. It's really, really painful, yeah. This is the best I can do for now, but hopefully we can fix this in the future. Now going back to our notebook. So how did I do the process of generating my digital notes? You can type in your own notes, so just simply typing, yeah. So you can just type. Yeah, I put a lot of space there, don't really need much there. As you can see, even if I type here, right, if I type joy, for example, my avatar will smile. Wave, it's all hand activated. You can import graphics to enhance your notes. And as you can see, I cannot click on this graphic anymore. instead, I can use the draw tool. I can annotate on it. So I can draw stuff on it. It's very, very useful. Right. They always say a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So what happened there? Let me go back to text. Let me just shift all this down. Right. Yeah, you can always edit your notes on the go. It's really, really useful. You can write in using the draw tab and then use the handwriting. Now this one will be quite interesting. So I'm going to say, for example, hello. I'm using my mouse, so it's going to be ugly anyway. Aduh. Okay, let me do that. Redo that again. All right. I have a Wacom, but I'm not using it right now. Okay, hello. And then I will click this button over here to select the text. Then I click on ink to text. Oops, it became hell. Oops. Okay, so you can fix it manually. Yeah. Normally I don't use this handwriting recognition tool because I can type much faster than doing this. Yeah. So I don't know. It's up to you. You try it if you want. Now, some of us like to use audio notes. So you can insert, click on audio. So I'm going to do a quick one. So it's recording now. So hello, how are you? I hope you like audio notes. Stop. Then it will put it over here. I hope you can click on it and play. So I'm going to do a quick one. So it's recording now. So hello, how are you? I hope you like audio notes. There you go. So I hope you heard that as well. And then one of the even better functions, rather than using audio notes, you can embed videos. Now, I actually subscribed for this lady's course last year for Excel. She's really good. Yeah. So you can, I'll send you a link for this video, how to use OneNote effectively. In fact, it's better than this PD right now. But of course, if you really want to get good at something, you have to be willing to spend. Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's quite cheap as well. I think it's around $16 all the way to 60, depending on the course. Some of them are so comprehensive. They even give you example Excel files. Worth it, worth it. So what about you organizing your digital notes? It's a very simple system. You have your main notes here. Then you have your subsections over here, which you can expand and close. Yeah. And then you have subsections of subsections. So I put some test pages there. And how do you link? So for example, I'm going to show it here. I'm going to link this to, for example, double bracket, test, subpage. What's that one called? Test subpage 1. Close double bracket, and it should link me there. Yes, it works. Yeah. So if you use the double brackets, you can write down the exact name of the page, and it should link you there straight away. So that's linking. Really, really important. Yeah? It's useful for especially pages which have a lot of content. You need to put buttons here and there for you to link to the top, link to the bottom, or link to the previous page or the next page. This will give you a better way to navigate through your files rather than clicking through here. Which one? Mana. Oh, there's also a search function, so you can search. So if I look for test subpage, click on it, and it'll show me the links straight away. Yeah, click. So let me just clean that first and go back to the menu. So from here, I use another link to go to using tags. Now, if you feel that you have a lot of things on the screen and you want to just relax, kick back and listen to it, you can also use tags. And I specifically put a tag on this verse over here. Let me check. Where do I look for it? Is it draw? View? Oh, yes, here. Under the tab view, if I click on immersive reader, it should open the screen mains to the full screen. And when I click on play,
here is a random paragraph that the enlightened amongst you will resonate with. Smiley face.
Smiley face.
Use immersive reader. Tiger, tiger, burning bright. In the forests of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire?
Okay, so you can even change the voice settings to faster reading, female or male. Yeah, so it's up to you. I found this quite useful whenever I have a lot of text that I malas to read. Yeah. Yeah. And this is one important thing as well for, especially if you're using a long checklist like the syllabus. So if you click on home, there is this thing here called tags. So for example, here I have blood, water, juice, sap, and stone. And I've used this. I click on this to do, and this will basically give me a to-do checklist. I can just check on it, click, once I'm done with my syllabus, for example. So for your case, you'll be like the usual lesson planning. You have your, by the end of this lesson, students should be able to, then you have your list of things. You can checklist. So you can give this list to your students and they will be the ones to checklist it instead of you. Very, very useful. It's all under text. And then again, if I search right under here, text, if I click on to do, then it will show all the things that I have given to my students in terms of tags. So have you done this reaction? Have you learned about this reaction? So if you do, if you have not checked it, then please look at 7.1.1, for example. So again, these tags are very useful. So the more tags you have, you got to make sure that they are organized as well, so you know what these tags mean. Yeah, at least. A quite interesting read. Then I'll be linked to this passage over here. And then the distribution process. Now this slide here over here, I should have actually made this a bit more clean. So please follow my little cursor over here. First, you click on the Classroom Notebook tab, which is here. Then you have a lot of buttons. Yeah. Most of these buttons you don't really use anyway, but yeah, this add remove students is quite useful, but you will seldom need to use it if you have already generated your notebook from Teams. Now, distribute page is what I normally do. Now, in this case, I can't distribute it to anyone because this is not a team. Yeah, it's just a meeting only. However, I can distribute it to another notebook if I use review instead. Yeah, review student work. Now, in this slide, which I will give you the PDF for, it has a series of snapshots of the actual procedure. So if you use distribute page, you can go cross notebook distribution, which means I can distribute to another notebook, but it is disabled for this one because this notebook has got no theme. Yeah? I need to add students first before I can distribute. But anyway, if you distribute, if your sections, so I'll show you an example. So for my lower 6 students, so this student over here has got her, this person's syllabus. So all the notes that I've sent. So my usual style is I will send these notes to these students, all of them, 2 weeks before the lesson. So they have 2 weeks to read and go through all these notes. Oh, this student has recently updated, so you can see it's in bold. What did she actually do? Highlighted, yeah. So you can see the student has highlighted, has written some of her own notes, very good. Has answered this exercise as well. Very, very nice, yeah. Nice. So now I know that this student has done a lot of annotation to her own notes, which is very good. And I can also see she has done all the way until 1.4 and has not looked at these ones yet, but has looked at 2.4. Interesting. What did she do in 2.4? Sometimes, right, they are. Okay, yeah, sometimes students do that as well. Then I have their homework, and as you can see, here is a piece of homework that they handed in last week, and I marked it already. Now, I received a question before this PD. How did I do this? How did I insert the file in here? Actually, all I did was insert, click on print out. You see, it says there on top, insert printout from PDF. So as long as your PDF is not a restricted PDF, as in there's a password, if it's a clean PDF, like a fresh one, you can just click on print out, select the file, and it will embed it here. I'll show you another example of a student who actually used a difficult one for me. So for example, I think it's this student. Oh, that's fine, that's fine. So I've already marked this piece of work. There was one student who embedded it. Yeah, here we go. This student embedded the file in this way. So the scanned document, the student downloaded the file, printed it out, and then re-uploaded it into this page. And as you can see, it's huge. On the PC, it's okay, but in my iPad, right, it takes a while to load this file, and especially because this morning lagging again. So it took me a while to mark this. Actually, not this morning, a few days ago. So as you can see, it was loading. It was loading. So it's really big. I can, of course, just click on view and zoom in, zoom out. Then it'll be easier for me to mark. Yeah. However, if you are doing marking on your OneNote, these marks over here, I will have to manually input them into Microsoft Teams. Yeah, so manually input them. So let me show you what that means. I can't do it now actually if I do it. Yeah, I cannot leave this for now. Oh, I can. So I click on Teams, Assignments. Then topic 1, assignment, confirmation. Nope. All classes. Let's go to Teams. Click on wrong team. Go to my lower 6 team. Click on assignments. You can see that they have got a mark or grades. Sorry, not assignments. Yeah, grades. So my topic 1 assignment confirmation, I told them to type in manually that they have turned in. They click on the button, so I can begin marking. This student forgot to do it, but everyone else did. Then for this one over here, this was from a Microsoft Forms quiz. And then it is automatically marked and tabulated here for me. So over the year, I can generate a table of all my marks and then finally export to Excel before VIP day, for example. I can show the parents all this, yeah? And with comments as well. So back to OneNote. There's quite a lot of stuff you can do here. And normally what I do is I close them after I'm done. And you can see if the student has done an update, it's bold. So you can click on it and you can view it. Yeah. Back to OneNote. So that's how I distribute the syllabus to all the students. Distribute assignments to all the students. I mark it on my iPad because it's easier to mark on a tablet rather than using a Wacom. Yeah? You can also distribute new sections. For example, I distributed a new practical session last 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago. So it will create a new section in each of their text notebooks. Then there is also the review system, which is like basically if you are good at Excel and you use slices before, you can just click on 2 things. It will filter out all my notebooks and only show me students from these 2 notebooks. Then I can compare their exercises, for example. So for instance, if I had used the same exercise last year and this year, I can compare the scores of this year's students versus last year's students. Really useful. Okay, now we are moving on to our favorite tips. Now, my first favorite tip is to set the picture as a background. This is the picture from before. Now, you can see that if I hover my mouse over here, I may click and to remove it. So when you're drawing, sometimes you may not be using the right tool and you may click on it sometimes. Sometimes it's very annoying when I do that. But, right, I cannot want that. So what you should do is right click on the file and just click on set picture as background. Now we have free range. I can even type on it now. Hi. I can add different annotate. You can put all these all over the diagram here. Wheel. Yeah. Spokes. Etc. Etc. Yeah. So it's quite useful. You can input a build list if you want, like the checklist as we showed just now. So this is the first tip. It's actually quite a basic tip, but it's very, very useful. Yeah. Especially when we're doing the digital marking. If your students have input their PDF files, you may sometimes click and move it out of alignment. So if you right click and set it as a background, you can annotate freely. Tip number 2, smarter way to create links. I have already shown this to you just now. So use the double square brackets. So linking back to the table of contents, I hope this works. Sometimes it doesn't. Our top 5 favorite, tips. Oops. Sometimes it doesn't work because it's backtracking. Yeah, okay, it works. Sometimes it actually creates a new one over here. So for example, if I wanted to create a new tip, I will say tip, double brackets, tip number 6. And if I do this, you can see it created a new folder there. The scaling is a bit different as well. Yeah, normally I don't do this, but it changed my font because normally I want it to be this font, but it has made it become smaller. So let's delete that. It's better to do it manually. delete that as well. And delete that as well. So if I ever do this PD again, can we use that? Tip number 3, work in full screen mode. Now, if I click on this, you can see that it is now full screen and I have all my tools that I need above. So it's quite useful if you are using this on your iPad as well. If you are doing multitasking with 2 windows, you will have half the window with your OneNote and half the window with maybe Excel. But if you use this full screen tool, it will be full screen only in that half. Then you will have less clutter and you can do your work much more clearly. Yeah. For now, I'm showing it this way because we can see the table of contents, yeah, and you can see we're almost done with the PD. Tip number 4, there are a lot of shortcuts. Now, the shortcut that I use the most is this one. Control, Shift, and right arrow, or right bracket. You can change the size straight away. And also, I like to use this Control plus that, or Control plus dot, to create new points on my notes. These things, of course, you can just click on the shortcuts in Microsoft.com. They will give you a huge list of shortcuts. Oh, here's a nice one. Whenever you're doing marking, right, or you have given notes, if you want to have a quick date stamp, so you click alternate Shift and T, you got a date stamp and timestamp. Oh, that's for timestamp, sorry. That's a timestamp. Yeah, makes sense, because T. So if you want a date stamp, it's alternate Shift F. Alternate Shift F. You will have date and timestamp. So when you did your marking, you can straight away do that. I know you can simply type it in, but sometimes it's a lot faster to do this. And then my last tip will be what I showed just now. So you have this hello, for example. You can use ink to text to make it into hello. Now, some math teachers actually know this already, but if you use the lasso tool, select all that. If I click on ink to math, it actually reads the equation for me. Now, if you use this way of writing, the X this way, right, you have issues because when you, for example, if I do it like that, and I ink to math, it becomes an asterisk. So try to use straight lines instead. So straight lines like that for X is okay, it's better. Like that. I have an issue with my mouse, so anyway, let me redo that. Right. Hopefully it does the same thing. So I have my ink to math. You can fix it if you want, but it's okay already. I can evaluate it. Oops, I need to put equal 0 at the end. Mathematicians will correct me on that. I can factorize it even. It's really powerful. It splits it into factors. I can even have a graph of this equation, differentiate it with respect to x, and I believe that's correct. X2x, yep, plus 2 plus c. That's a, yeah. Sorry, that's no c, that's for integration. Integration, the c is there. So it can differentiate and integrate for you. It's really, really crazy. And if you click on show solution steps, it actually gives you a dumbed down version of it. I don't think you need that many steps to integrate that. There's so many steps. Yeah, I think it's American. Okay, so ink to text, ink to math. And if you're using the desktop version, you can even OCR, as in optical character recognition. You can even extract text from pictures. Now, I'm not using the desktop version, so I can't do it. Yeah, but you can try it for yourselves. And it actually works quite strongly as well. There's a bonus tip. If you are needing help, please don't be shy to click on this guy over here. Where is it? Where is the help file? Click on help, and you can actually get help from the AI. It's really, really useful. I know it's an AI. Whatever you click here, it will give you the answers. Yeah. So don't be shy. It's not even human, right? So it's not going to record and make fun of you if you ask questions. And here's a bonus tip. If we had done this before, you could have clicked on meeting details. It doesn't work here because I don't have a team. Let me try that anyway. Meeting details. Will it work for this? I don't think it will. Huh? Oh, actually it can. Okay, PD, note. Ah, there it works. So I can actually click on meeting details, click on today's meeting, and it will give you this. So if I expand that, that's the message for everyone. So I can paste that to my WhatsApp or anything. Now here, because here are the list of people who are here right now. So this is your attendance list already. Then you can even add more notes. So if I press, for example, action by, then I press tab, I press the tab key, the TAB key, press tab for auto tables. Then I can put down here open or closed. I know they like to do this. You press enter. I have a table. You can resize it as you want. You can resize it as you want. And that's meeting minutes. You can even do your meeting minutes here if you prepare this in advance. It's really, really useful, this meeting notes. And if I had told you this at the beginning of the session, you could have already done this during this PD itself. Yeah, very, very useful. I've used this once during a during a COEMT meeting. Luckily for that COEMT meeting, there were so few things to write down, so it was very, very useful. Then after that, once I'm done with this, I can email the meeting notes to everybody here. So all the 51 participants, I can email them all by clicking this button, which will open it to Outlook with the timestamp and so forth. You can even add pictures and stuff like that. This entire page here will be emailed to everyone. It's really, really useful. Yeah. So I guess that's it. Let's have a Q&A session. Let's move to our, oops, did I click the button? Got an email. All right, so if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand first, and then you can, I'll give you the floor. The mic will be yours. Anybody? Anybody still alive here? Please give me a thumbs up. Oh, yes, Miss Han Chen Ying, you may take the floor.
I want to ask, just now you mentioned about when students upload the work onto OneNote.
Yes.
And then if they have made the update on their OneNote, the page will the words will be bold, is it?
Yes, yeah, it'll be bold.
How can you repeat the process on how to do that?
Okay, so here's an example. Now my students have edited their page basically. So they've made an edit to the page, and then the page became bold. So for example, this homework, yeah, I've already marked it. Yes, because I've already marked it, this means that the students have not updated anything. So you see, after I click away for homework, oh no, the reason why this is bold is because this one, a student has done more work. Wow. Okay, this is due next Thursday, you know, so that means that this student here has done his or her work in advance. Now, because it is bold, right, it will alert me to start marking it. Yeah, because it is bolded. If I click away, you see it's no longer bold.
Is
it
it automatically?
Oh. Yeah, it's automatically bold. See, now it's not bold anymore, right? Because I've already looked at it. Yeah.
I see.
So it's very useful, you know.
I click on review student work.
Review, right? It's very good.
Yeah, I use that instead of looking at the bold thingy.
Yes. So if you click on review student work, you can see all their edits in real time. Yeah, you can see the date stamps as well. So this is actually better for review student work. It's actually better. But if I spend time on a PD for this, actually this is the whole topic. So you can actually spend a PD just on these two. It's very useful, the review. Thank you for the question.
And also, once you delete the section, there's no way that we can recover.
You can.
Section, not sure, but page, yes.
Page definitely lah.
Yeah. Can you show us how to back up?
Let me try to create a new section, and then after that delete it, and then see whether it's in our trash. Yeah. So if you look at your more notebooks, I'm not sure. I've never actually tried section before. Yeah.
Because I accidentally deleted one of my student section.
Oh no.
And it was never been recovered. Cannot be recovered anymore.
No. Yeah, so be careful. By the way, you can always password protect your pages so you don't delete.
Which one? The password protection.
Yeah, so you click on this, for example, syllabus, right click, password protection. Then you can add a password to it.
So we don't delete it.
Yeah. Well, deleting it accidentally is quite easy if you are on iPad, you know, because iPad, right? You swipe left, you can press the delete accidentally.
It happens in the iPad.
Now, if you do that accidentally, you go to home, right? You check whether this button is still there. If this button over here is still available, you can click on it and undo. But if it is not, then habis already lah. Sorry.
Okay.
So I have to be very.
I actually tried. There's one we can sync, not sync. How I say, recover. There's a control that we need to. I'm not sure which button that we need to press to recover the page.
I have to look it up. Honestly, I'm not really sure because I've never made that mistake yet. Touch wood, I don't want to make that mistake as well. But if I know, I'll let you know. So I'll look it up. So I'll add that to our notes. So this is a very good question. And it's something which may happen to anybody. Yeah. So let's add that to our list of questions. So bullet point, what if we accidentally delete a section? How do we recover it? Yeah, so we'll look up ways for it.
And
I hope that answers your question. Oh,
how to
okay.
back up.
Oh, and how to back up as well.
Yeah.
And how do we back up? Actually, you can export your notebooks, you know. You can export your notebooks.
Export the notebook, it's no. If I try to export the page and then it's like a whole chunk of PDF in one page.
Yes.
How do I do that?
There's a way to export it as a different file. It's a OneNote file. Again, I've never actually tried it for myself because so far I didn't have to do it yet. But there's one point where you will have to do this, by the way. Now we are government servants, so we have our own email, right? So our account is activated, so we can access these things over here. Now all these things that you do are saved on your device itself. Okay, so they're saved on your device. If you were to log on another device, what they will do is they will save it to the cloud. So they will sync it, then you will access it from there. However, if we lose access to our account, say when we quit being a teacher at this school and you receive a different email, how then do we access our notes again? Now, I found a way to do this where I click on, for example, let me click on this one. How do I do it? Yeah, copy the link to the notebook and then you email yourself that link. Now, when you are opening that email, you have to sign in using a different Outlook email. For example, I use my personal email, my Hotmail. If I sign in using that link, I will have access to this notebook. So that's one way you can have multiple copies of the same notebook that are synchronized at the same time. So it's one way to do it. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Does anyone else have a question? Please raise your hand if you have. It seems like everyone is okay. Hello, tidur ka? We still have about 20 minutes, you know, so you can use this whole time for your question and answer. Let me check my phone. Are there any other questions? So far, no. Yeah, Miss Olivia, many people have asked that as well. So that's me over there. I took a survey with my students. Basically, they said that if I just write down on the notes, right? Basically, my lessons in the past was I would just write on the whiteboard, and then they lose focus. So I thought, what if I use Miss Wei Hun's method and put a little GIF there? And it actually helped a lot, no? Because the GIF, I know it's a bit distracting sometimes, but if you see someone with the mouth moving like my avatar over here, then I can give them responses as well, like wink, yeah, good response, well done, and so forth. Sad face, that's not really sad, but that's how I look. I look sad most of the time anyway. Joyful face, even my angry face looks, my angry face doesn't look very angry. So it's really useful, you know, you can prompt students to wake up. Now, every 5 to 10 minutes, I ask my students to give me a thumbs up. So every 5 to 10 minutes, they will give me a thumbs up to make sure they are not asleep, you know. And then sometimes you will see them who are asleep, and then I'll be like, ah, man, this student fell asleep during lesson again. And I'm sure some of you have that as well. After the lesson is finished, everybody has left the room, but there's one student still inside the class because that student has fallen asleep, or even worse, log in, good morning, sir, quiet for the whole lesson. At the very end of the lesson, forgot to say goodbye or thank you, sir, and then fell asleep. Terrible. Yeah. This is my face now, by the way. So if anyone asks, this is me, the real me now. One eye has become red. Yeah. And then one hair is sticking up on top there. Any more questions? Anybody? We got another 10 minutes if you want. If not, I can move on to the next part, which is the survey. So most of you want this part, actually. This is probably what you really want. Your attendance is here, so please take a snapshot. This is for non-Pitesians, so let me move my avatar out of the way. In fact, no, let me just zoom out. Zoom out. Oh no, let me use full screen mode, yeah? So I'm gone. I'm gone. This is probably what everyone wants. Hide. Of course, you can always text me personally or email us at staffpd. I can't remember our email. I think it was ptespd. Yeah, ptespd at moi.gov, ptes.moi.gov.bn. Then we will email you back with your answers as soon as we can. Now, just now, Miss Jennings, Miss Han's question, we will summarize that and put it into the March edition of the PD circular. Okay, I hope everyone's done with this. I'm going to zoom it back. And then, yeah, that's it. So thank you for your kind attention, everyone. And before we end, can I ask Cikgu Nabawi again to lead us with a closing prayer? Thank you very much. Sorry for the trouble.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu salihat wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr.
All right, so thank you very much, everyone. Let me go back to the QR code for those who didn't get it. There you go, QR code in full screen. See you in our next online tutorial. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you, Cikgu Max.
No worries. I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to update your 100 hours.
And Cikgu Max, where can we get the recorded video?
I will give you a link on the email soon.
Okay, thank you, Max.
Yes, no worries. I will also email this QR code to you all, so don't worry lah. If anyone came in late or in a Sapa Ampit, you can always watch this again, the recording, and you can use it as a PD hours as well. So if you're doing cascading with your department or what, it works, yeah? Oh, there's an unknown user, so there are a few guests here actually. Bye-bye. Hey, bye-bye. That's me waving. That's the real me. Yeah, wave. Ha. I'm having a lot of fun with this, by the way. These sad face but wave. Oh, it works as well. Angry face but wave. Pink.
Max, ada PD kah on the avatar thingy?
Yeah, but that will be a smaller PD lah. So I'll make a smaller PD for the avatar thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. So I'll let you all know if there's a PD next time lah. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks, Kak Yati. Ciao. Oh, attendance code again. Wait, attendance code. There you go. Attendance code for Pitesians. This one over here.
Is it attendance or survey? Same guy.
It's both lah. Yeah, Actually, your attendance already taken anyway because I have the. Remember just now I had the piece. Yeah.
From the teams, huh?
Yeah, already at attendance. Ta-dang. And then once that's done, I actually have a closing page one. Ending soon. The stream will be ending soon. And Raislin Majeri will be going offline. Oh, there's a conversation as well. I didn't check. Wow. Sorry for the not checking the conversations. There's a lot. I'll answer them one by one later. Banyak eh. Yes. You don't really want to see the real me. I cannot click on it. Wah, masih banyak orang here. Hello everyone. Olivia, did you like the avatar? I also have a female avatar, by the way. Hi, I'm gonna stop recording.